Well, let's go and get started just a few minutes after the hour, and we'll get running through this. Today we're going to talk about hazard communication, or HAZCOM, as what the short name a lot of people do call it. My name is Greg Hogan. I work on the environmental safety here at Oklahoma State University. And basically what I get to do here is OSHA training classes. This is one of the topics that does fall into that particular category. I know some of y'all, this is going to be a refresher. Some of y'all, this may be brand new. So as we're going through, if y'all have any questions, please ask. We've added a couple of props from what it was last year, give you some things to kind of think about. And I got two examples right here, and we'll cover that towards about halfway through the presentation. All right, we'll talk about right to understand. Basically, is what you understand the products you do work with. We'll also talk about the HAZCOM written program. We'll talk about the chemical inventory list, safety data sheets, your labeling. We'll cover all of that. We'll also cover the employee training aspect of it. So, as we're going through, if you have any questions or concerns, please ask. One of the things you may not realize is from 2006, 2009 to 2006 to 2016, there were 47,000 HAZCOM violations or citations were issued right here in the United States. That's quite a few, but one of the main things is there was a major change within the HAZCOM program. That's the reason that some of them departments were not actually up to date with the information. It does remain number 2 from 2012 to 2018 as far as cited as far as violations are concerned. I don't know if y'all have ever seen this before, but it's still right to know that once you kind of understand the products or the chemicals that y'all do work with in your place of employment. Some of y'all in this group may work with a lot of chemicals. There's probably some of y'all that never even work with any type. But there's two things to kind of keep in mind. In the building that y'all are in right now in the student union, y'all do have chemicals. You also have employees who will be working with chemicals, or you may be that employee who works around someone that may be using chemicals. And that's where the HAZCOM program does actually step in and actually provide you with some regulations that we do have to comply with. Once again, basically try to understand once you know the products that you do work with. The written program, once again, if you do request a copy of the HAZCOM written program, it's available to everybody free of charge. They cannot charge you for a copy of that. It's for the employees, free of charge. The other thing you'll notice is a chemical hygiene plan, which that does not affect y'all's group. Because let's face it, y'all don't work in laboratories. Y'all basically are working in a building. You have a limited amount of some of the chemicals that you may or may not be exposed to. So, that's kind of the difference right there. Let's go to the other part. If you happen to be working in a workplace, you're exposed to any type of vapor, mist, gas, dust. Lead would be one you could throw in there. Stuck with a contaminated needle would be another good example. That actually falls under what's called the Employee Exposure Report Form, or the EER form. I don't know if anybody's ever had to fill out one of these or not, but one thing I want y'all to keep in mind is if you ever have an employee who happens to have any type of exposure during normal working hours, they'll go from student unions directly over to the student health center. If they're able to take care of it over there, they will. If not, they will send them to the next place where that particular employee can get some type of care for whatever the exposure may have been. But as an employee, it is your right to know what the product was. Not only that, there's a form that is available. Your supervisors do have access to this information. One thing you have to keep in mind is take care of the employee's needs, number 1. That's the first thing to remember. The second thing is, and please don't forget this, fill out the paperwork. It's not designed to find fault or blame. What it is designed for, though, is do we have an exposure? Where the exposure occurred, most importantly, how could it have been prevented from whatever the exposure of those products may have been. And folks, this is for something for you to keep a copy of it, your supervisor keeps a copy, and then send EHS a copy of this particular form. It's a pretty good deal to have because some of the things you work with, you may not see problems with right now. Let's say 15, 20, 30 years down the road, you start having some health issues. It may be associated back to the type of chemicals that you were exposed to. Really don't know, but at least you do have documentation far as whatever the exposure was. So remember, take care of the employee's needs first. The supervisor actually has 24 hours with this paperwork turned in to the EHS department and also within your own department. Who in this group is doing y'all's chemical inventory list? There has to be someone within the groups that are taking care of the chemicals that you do bring into y'all's workplace. We do have it set up now. One thing we need to find out is the type, the location, and the quantity of the materials that you may have that are chemicals in your place of employment. And like I said, some groups have a lot of chemicals, and some of y'all have virtually no chemicals within your work environment. But do remember, go through and make an inventory. We do have this available online. At any given time, we can virtually bring up that building, that room number, and pretty much get a pretty good idea of what kind of chemicals are located in that particular room. Is it going to be 100%? Probably not, but it does kind of give a starting point of exactly what the exposure is or what are the hazards that could encounter if a person does enter in that area. So if you get a new chemical brought into your work environment, someone within y'all's group is keeping track of these chemicals. Find out who that person is. We've actually made it a little bit simpler. What it used to be years ago, you used to have to write this stuff in manually, and then they went from the manual aspect directly to the Excel format. Now we've got it on a web-based program now to make it a little easier. But one thing I always tell groups is get rid of the chemicals that you're not going to be using. You'll probably find chemicals in your work environment that may have been there for several years. Someone may have left them. You may not ever use them. Do take the time though to set the chemicals off to the side. There's some paperwork that you're able to fill out. Send the paperwork directly to the EHS department at ehs.oklahoma.edu. That's where you'll find the forms at. The hazardous waste group will come over and actually pick up the chemical waste that you're trying to dispose of. It's a pretty good source. A lot of things that our department does pick up, a lot of times it gets recycled back into reusable type of materials. Another thing too that you can do to actually help on the inventory side of it is maybe there's someone in y'all's particular building over here. For example, have a product that you're not going to use it, send out an email just within the student union itself or wherever you're working at and say, hey, we've got this product, it's never been opened, would anybody be interested in it? There are several groups that have done that, and they save a tremendous amount of money without having to repurchase another type of product. Because some of this stuff can last for several years without too much of an issue. So once again, find out who in your group is doing the inventory. The HACCP standard requires all employers basically to provide workers with information about the hazardous chemicals. Do you think that's true or false for what they're supposed to? It is true, most definitely. They need to let you know the type of chemicals you work with in your place of employment. Let's go to the next one up here. The NFPA diamond and the GHS. How many of y'all have seen one of these before? It's been around for years. This particular placard about the NFPA diamond that y'all see on the screen there is basically designed for the fire departments. And where they get that information from is directly from your chemical inventory list. So once again, it does give them a starting point. The NFPA actually is designed for emergency response personnel. They have a color code system. The blue is for health, the red is for flammability, the yellow is for activity, the white is for special information. They also use a numeric rating system of from 0 to 4. 0 means there's no hazards. 4 is the worst scenario you can possibly get yourself into. So kind of remember, the higher the number, the worse the situation is going to be. The lower the number, the safer that particular area is for them to actually enter to do whatever they're having to do at that given time. Now, one thing you do want to keep in mind, a lot of times here at the OSU campus in Stillwater, they'll actually locate those by maybe a fire alarm panel somewhere, or it may be located directly on the outside of the door area. So next time you're out, kind of walk around, see if you see different types of signage. I know in the city of Stillwater, there's a lot of businesses that I've noticed that do have this particular placard attached on the outside of the building itself. So once again, it's designed for the fire department or emergency response personnel. The GHS, which is a global normalization system, they have their own unique labeling system. And one of the things that they do ask for on the labels, basic information, what's the name of the product of that particular chemical? You know, the chemical name, common name is very common to see on there. The next thing is you're going to find in the labels will be the word danger or warning. Will be the two words. We've not had this in the past. About 5 years ago, there was a major change within the HASCOM standard. This is one that they did implement. They did put the word danger. That's the worst of the worst you could possibly get yourself into if you work with that type of a product. In other words, there should be some kind of red flags up there that says, hey, kind of be a little bit more careful if you use this particular product. Then, of course, there's a warning. It does give you some specific information on things to kind of look out for. But once again, the warning is not near as bad as what the danger actually is. And those are the two words that they did come up with for the global harmonization system. It's worked out pretty good so far, mainly for the simplicity of it. The hazard statement, in other words, what kind of harm is this particular chemical going to cause if I use this particular product? Is it going to be an inhalation issue? Is it going to be an injection, or is it going to be some type of absorption type of a problem that you may experience? Very important to read section number 3, section number 4. Instead of you having to read anything, it actually gives you pictograms to kind of look at. And those pictograms are basically designed to provide you with the basic information for that particular product. It's going to tell you basically is what you can and cannot do. It's going to give you pictures. It's just what you're going to see. I'll show you those coming up here in just a second. So the last part, of course, is the precautionary statement. What I need to do to work around this particular chemical safely. What kind of personal protective equipment? What kind of firefighting issues do I need to be concerned about? Not only that, if there's a spill, what I do in case there's a chemical spill from that particular product. That's all going to be in section number 5. When you get to the label, it looks similar to the one you'll see right there on the screen. One of the things that I have noticed that some companies actually combines section number 1 and section number 5 together. I've seen it happen a couple of times with different manufacturers. So once again, that's just the basic label that you're going to find on products. And like I said, this is a whole lot easier to read than what it used to be years ago. Used to, they took all that information on the label and kind of crammed it all in. And you really, it's kind of hard to distinguish what was what within the label itself. So they kind of simplified it for everyone. The NFPA and the GHS, the biggest difference is the NFPA, of course, uses the numerical rating system runs from 0 to 4. It was designed for the emergency response personnel. The GHS, on the other hand, is designed for the users of that particular product. And one of the things that they have, which is kind of unique, is the GHS numerical rating system runs from 1 to 5. 1 is the worst of the worst, and 5, of course, there is no hazard associated with it. In other words, they flip-flop the numbering system, and sometimes they can be kind of confusing. So remember, the NFPA runs from 0 to 4, and the global harmonization runs from 1 to 5 as far as the numerical rating system. So in the GHS, you will not have a 0 like you do in the other. So kind of look at that. The other two is, I know y'all do have a food court area. Does anybody work over the HBR building in this group? Over that food court area that they've got. You get to go over there soon? I used to work over there? Okay. That's all what I can think of right now that actually has a food court area within a lab building per se over there. And this is something you're going to find on outside the lab doors before you enter those locations. Number 1 is we're required to get things on outside and notify before you make an entry into that location. And one of the things is what kind of personal protective equipment do I need to wear before I enter that location? What kind of foot protection, eye protection, hand protection? Maybe it may be a facial, maybe it may be hearing protection that you have to wear. So once again, you're going to find that information where, and the type of products that you're working with in that particular area. The other two, you're going to find the pictograms, and I talked about these earlier. Those will also be located on the main entrance before you step into that particular lab itself. So I did want to kind of mention that because, like I said, I can only think of one group within the food areas that does have a lab in that particular building. So it's kind of look at things like that. The other two is the NFPA document, of course, at the very bottom, be posted on the door itself. And also the emergency notification form. The emergency notification form that you can see is very important in case there's any type of a spill, leak, or anything like that. And we have to make contact with who's in charge of that particular department or that particular lab. It also, on that particular form, is going to tell you the hazards that you may encounter if you get in that lab area. Is it a chemical lab? Is it a biological lab? Is it radiation? Or the lasers you're working with? Or just some of the examples you may find on that emergency notification form. The thing you got to keep in mind though is whatever's on outside the door, make sure it's not obstructed. It's got to be able, the person's got to be able to read it at a distance so they can kind of determine what are some of the hazards. Let's go to the other part. I know this will pain to some of y'all in this group, particularly on the maintenance side of it, with flammable type of materials. Your flammable materials need to be stored in the flammable storage cabinet. As far as the quantity that those particular cabinets can hold is going to be located on the inside of the cabinet, and normally it's going to have a sticker marked on the door itself. It's going to tell you how many quarts or how many gallons of material you can store in that particular cabinet safely. Now these cabinets only work if you actually keep the doors closed on them. And that's something a lot of people don't even think about. I've walked down the halls before, just having to glance over and it's like, why is the door open? A lot of people say, well, I don't want to take the time to close the door. That's not what the cabinets are designed for. They're designed, if there is a fire, it's going to contain or protect the chemicals in that particular cabinet. So, and remember, it's not the liquid that ignites or flammables, it's what? For vapors, it's going to ignite. Okay, and that's what you have to be careful with. The blue cabinets, I don't know if you have any of those over here at Dawn, but those are going to be your corrosive cabinets. Some of your acidic type of materials or chemicals that you may work with is normally going to be in a blue style of cabinet. We have a whole bunch of those here on the OSU campus. The labeling, once again, make sure you have the manufacturer's label attached with the container. The other thing too is the label shall be written in English. If you do need to put a supplemental label on the container because that particular label has become defaced, make sure you put the common name, the chemical name on that particular container. Make sure it's written in English so it is legible. We've got to know what's in the containers here at OSU. Because we're basically, what y'all may not realize happens behind the scenes, is any chemical that does not have a label on it, it's considered as an unknown chemical. So in other words, they have to come in and do a chemical analysis. That's pretty much going to give them an idea as far as where that particular chemical is going to be categorized as far as disposal is concerned. All right, can you help us out? Put labels on containers. The other important thing is you pour a chemical from one container into the other, make sure that container is compatible with the chemical, please. And I'm going to give you good examples. Anybody ever poured gasoline into a styrofoam cup before?
You don't need it.
He'll do what?
You don't need it.
Oh, you said. Yeah, that's exactly what happens. As you pour the gasoline into the styrofoam cup, it runs right out the bottom. It softens it. It basically has a chemical reaction. That's why you've got to make sure the container is compatible with the chemical that you're pouring it into. Very, very important to remember that. The other thing too is, some of y'all in this group may use a lot of spray bottles. I don't care if you put water in there, you can put all the water. If you put a water and a soap mixture together, either put the percentage or put how many mils you mix together in that particular container. That way, it gives us a starting point as far as deciding what kind of material is in that container. If it does not have a label, folks, it's very costly to dispose of. And those are some things that you can help us out there. The peroxide formers, I don't have any of those in y'all's facilities over here. But once again, the chemical name, the common name, the date it was opened, the expiration date, of course, that's pretty important information. Now, let me ask you all this. How many of y'all like to drink these type of drinks? Anybody?
Yeah, once in a while.
Have you ever wondered what are in the containers when you pick them up? Let's start over here with this individual. I want you to take this, hold it up, look at it real carefully, pass it around, and at the very end, I'll let you know which is in which bottle. The products were purchased right here on this campus. at the stores that are here at the OSU location. One of them's the real deal of what the label states, and the other one is something of unknown type of product. And I know you'll have access to this other product as well. We kind of pass them around, look at them, shake them, look at the different bubbles. A lot of people don't think the bubbles do play an important part, but once again, it depends on what that product is. We'll get back to that in just a minute. So kind of pass those around. Well, let's go to the quiz real quickly. One or two of the signal words is required of labels emphasize the hazard. Which is the greater of the two? Remember, danger or warning? Remember the word danger. Okay, that's the what? The worst of the worst you could possibly get yourself into. Now, let's look at the next stuff here. These are the pictograms we talked about earlier. Okay? There's 9 pictograms altogether. If you will notice those pictograms, they have a white background, they have a black picture, and they have a red around the edge of the diamond shape. Pretty colorful. Gives you specific information. Here's an example of one that may be a health hazard. In other words, it's basically the torso of an individual. This particular one right here talks about the health hazards associated with the products. Is it inhalation issues? Is it something that's going to cause some type of internal damage within the human body? In other words, it happens inside for that particular pictogram that deals with health hazards.
I
This
have
one right,
a question about this.
about this one right here.
Yes. How come lately in so many products people see that in many clothes, like in California, work bags and blah, blah, blah. Why do they keep selling that when they know?
That's just a warning, is all that they're giving us, and that's what that pictogram is set up for. It's on a lot of stuff. So what does that tell you about some of the products that we use out there?
I mean, a suitcase, maybe one suitcase. On my left, it says the same.
It says on there?
Yeah.
Yeah, companies trying to cover themselves is what it comes down to.
So what, you don't buy it? I mean, you see that, I use return things, but, so I'm not going to.
Because you're finding all kinds of products out there on the market. And they do cover a lot of things. And the companies basically put that out there for their own protection. Some of the chemicals you may work with, the majority of the chemicals where normally you'll see a lot of that information put out there. But of course, they kind of go well beyond that particular location. We've seen that happen before as well. So, did you figure out what the products were yet? Any ideas? What's the real deal?
The lighter one, isn't it?
I think it's the darker one.
This one right here. And you got this one right here. This is the real deal right here. This is the peach tangerine. That's what it's called. A peach nectarine. That's what this one. And then y'all have used the bug wash that you put in your windshield wiper fluid. Comes in an orange color. Y'all seen that? That's what this one is right here. Put them side by side though, you can tell just a little bit, but don't go off the color. That can get you some serious problems out there. Put labels on the containers. So whatever's in that container, what you've put, you said what that particular product is. Because that right there is what gets a lot of people in trouble with mislabeling of containers. And now we brought these two. I think we've got a total of 6 altogether that we've got in a box that we carry around different locations. Those are ones that are fairly close as far as the color is concerned. So don't necessarily go off of, hopefully whatever the label states is what that particular product is. How many of y'all have opened up something that did not have a label on it? You went, didn't know what that was in the container. You know how to take labels off containers before trials? Use a small child or anything? Did you do that?
Probably.
I did the spinach. You can't stand canned spinach. My mom made me eat it. I never did. I make labels. off anything. Learn real quickly. But this is one you'll also find out there. Two flames inside at once means the product is a flammable type of material. Solid, liquid, and gases are very common to see that. And y'all got all kinds of flammable materials that y'all work around in y'all's work areas. Remember, anything you have in a compressed cylinder, if it gets hot enough, what's going to happen to it? It'll explode or it could catch on fire. Because it's the propellant inside the container that actually can cause the thing to actually catch on fire. So kind of look at things like that. The exclamation point, if you turn it upside down, remember the word irritant. It happens right now, short period of time. You see the word acute out there. You may have a rash, burn, some type of irritation, running, watery eyes. Pretty common to see out that on some products. So once again, there's a pictogram for the irritant. I know y'all got some of this in y'all's building over here. These are the compressed gas cylinders. Okay? So under pressure, keep it away from ignition sources or heat sources the best you possibly can. And maybe y'all ever seen a pictogram like this before? Y'all ever looked at an automotive battery before? That's one of the things that you're going to find on it. It has two vials, and normally this is going to be an acidic or corrosive type material. It happens in a short period of time. Usually rash, burn, very, very common to see that with that type of product. The next one right here, I hope you don't have any of that, which I know you don't in this building, but these are the materials that may be explosives. Okay? It looks like a ball with things blowing out away from the ball itself. And that's a pictogram for an explosive type of material. Normally you're going to find that on the side of the container. You also may find it on the safety data sheet for that particular product. Now, let's go to the other part. An O with flames coming out means the product is an oxidizer. Oxidizers love oxygen. That's their main purpose, is to take oxygen from everything else so it can survive. You see some of the oxidizers, particularly if you get around some of your welding type operations out there, you'll find some oxidizers in that type of field. The dead tree and the dead fish. Any ideas what that one possibly could be? Someone said, what was it? Toxic? Okay, to what?
Acidic.
No. What kind was it?
Environmental hazard.
Yeah, environmental toxicity. Okay, in other words, the plants, the animals, the water, vegetation, soil, air are good examples where you may find that particular pictogram located. Look at some of your chemicals, particularly if you use some applications like maybe herbicides, for example. A lot of times they'll spray things like that. Even some of your fertilizer bags may actually have that particular pictogram on. In other words, keep it away from water sources or the environmental aspect. I know y'all seen this one before, so y'all probably have this one at your house that you do live in. I'll give you some examples. It means an acute toxicity happens right now. How many of y'all have you ever used decon products before? That's one you will find on there. Another good example you'll find on is on a bottle of Drano. You ought to look at Drano labels, just turn the bottle around, and you'll see the skull crossbones. In other words, it's going to be extremely toxic, and it happens in a short period of time. Is where the exposure is going to occur. So just kind of some things to kind of look at that you may have access as far as those chemicals. I'd say probably the biggest mistake a lot of people make is they do not read the directions as far as if they're trying to mix two products together. And I'll give you a good example. How many of y'all have ever used bleach and ammonia? You all ever use those two products? You can use them individually with no problem, but you combine those two products, and what do you create? An asphyxiating gas. Okay? As long as you're separate, there's no problem, but you combine those two and actually can turn into a very quick toxicity with that particular product. So that's why it's important to read the labels and containers and all of that, and what you can and cannot mix together with those type of products. All right, here's a little quiz. Which of these symbols is for flammable type of materials? Look at the one in the B right there. It's going to be flammable materials. What about for carcinogens? A? That is correct. Remember, inside, we're internally inside the body. What's going to be for corrosives? Yeah, hopefully you put C up there. Because we know this first one is a explosives, this next one, the B over, is going to be an oxidizer. The safety data sheets. How many of y'all know where your safety data sheets are located for the chemicals that you work with? Any ideas where those are located? Do me a favor, when you go back to the area you work in, ask the supervisor or the foreman that you work for, where are the safety data sheets for the chemicals that we have in our work environment. The safety data sheets have got to be readily accessible to the employee at any given time that they're in the place of employment. You say, can we do them electronically? There's no problem with that. The only thing that we do ask those, if you do them electronically, remember, the employees have to have access to that computer system. If you put them in a notebook binder, which some of y'all may do that, because you may not have a lot of products that you do work with, don't lock them up in a file cabinet and don't lock them up in someone else's office. They have got to be accessible at any given time in the place of employment. And that's word for word, directly out of the OSHA standard, which is 29 CFR 1910-1200 is the ASCOM standard. Accessibility is the key word to remember there. The safety data sheets. Oops, back up this for a second. There we go. The safety data sheet shall be written in English. If you do need a supplemental language for a chemical that you're working with, go to the manufacturer's website. The majority of these you can actually have them printed off in different languages if you need be. The other thing too, that you do want to remember on these safety data sheets is if your employer cannot provide you a safety data sheet for the product that you work with, as an employee, it is your right to refuse work for those particular products. Now, nowadays, the way the systems are set up, they can have here in just a few seconds. They can actually produce you a hard copy, provide it to you as an employee, and go with the information with you. Years ago, you used to have to mail these things out. Now we can instantaneously without too much of a problem. But on the safety data sheets, just some of the basic areas to kind of look at. Number one is, what's the name of the product? Every chemical you work with will have a common name and also a chemical name. The other thing too is we'll give you some signal words on there. Remember the two signal words are what? Danger and warning. Those are going to be the two words you're going to find. It's also going to have a hazard statement. In other words, what's the harm if I use this particular product? How am I going to protect myself from that particular chemical? Is it going to be something I'm going to use personal protective equipment, which is normally the last means of protection, if all possible. You start looking at the hierarchy of safety. Always put the PP towards the very bottom. Try to engineer out, substitute, or eliminate all possible before you put in personal protective equipment. But sometimes you may have to read the safety data sheet and figure out exactly what kind of PPE do I need to provide my employees. Now this is very important to remember. Make sure you read the safety data sheet information before you use the chemical, please. One specific area that they do have on there is the first aid side. If you get a chemical splashed on you, in your eyes, whatever it may be, you need to know, do I neutralize that product first, or do I put straight water to it and then continue on with the flushing aspect? You've got to read the first aid measures. Don't forget that important section. Not only that is important, but also it gives you the fire aspect of it, it gives you the environmental portion on the safety data sheet. It'll actually give you the toxicity data information. Also tell you what you can and cannot mix together with this particular product. So it's kind of like a big recipe for something specifically for that type of chemical, whoever the manufacturer was. The manufacturer actually designs the safety data sheets for their products. That's where that information is all derived from. It doesn't take 1 or 2 hours, it takes months to get all this information put in place, and of course they'll produce a safety data sheet. The other thing too is what kind of personal protective equipment am I going to wear? When you're looking at gloves, make sure the gloves that you're wearing are compatible with the type of chemical you're going to be exposed to. Because some chemicals may break down a specific type of a glove material. Not only that, but you make sure that you read very thoroughly on what are the acceptable means of protection for this particular product. That's something right there that is very, very crucial. A lot of people overlook it. They think any glove will protect my hand, and that's a misnomer. Because some of this material actually degrade or break down the gloves that you may be wearing. So kind of go back and do some reading up on the products that you do work with. The training side of it, once again, within the first 30 days of employment, whenever new chemicals are brought into the work environment, on an annual basis, go to your HAZCOM program, and also go to some of the chemicals that you do work with. If you bring a new product into your work environment, make sure you document the training of what was covered during that period of time. Okay? Don't make it complicated. Make it reasonable within whatever you're trying to get that information across to the person that's going to be using those products. The more complicated you make it, the worse it does become. Let's see, let's go to the other part up here real quickly. We're down to the very end here. We talked about the engineering, PPE, emergency procedures. The bottom part does not pertain to all as far as animal laboratories are concerned. But one thing we always tell folks is, if you're going to be working in an animal lab area, let whoever the caretakers are in that particular area move the animals that you need to work with in that particular location. In other words, the animals are so used to their caretakers, normally they don't have too much of an issue, but if an outsider comes in, a lot of times it may disrupt the animals in that location. So just want to kind of throw that out there. If you want to see a copy of the OSU HAZCOM program, written program, you go to the HR's website, go under policy and procedures, you'll find it located there. 3-0535, it actually was updated in 2015, was when it was updated. So just something to kind of look at there. Do me a favor, when you go back to your work environment, find out exactly what kind of chemicals that you work with. Ask your supervisor or your foreman, whoever you work for, where are the safety data sheets for these products at. Next thing is, find out who's doing your chemical inventory list in the department that you work in. That's very critical because that way you kind of know some of the products that you do work around at a given time. Even those that work in the food court areas, some of y'all may work with some of the sanitizers that are out there. If you all use a lot of sanitizers or not, you probably do, typically around the dish room area. Those would be chemicals that you may find. Another thing too, maybe some of your cleaning products that you use to clean some of the food equipment with back in the very back. Maybe something else to kind of take note of. What are these products we're working with, but also what are some of the hazards that I could experience as an employee working those products. Okay. Y'all have any questions? No questions? If you ever run across any questions you're not really for sure about, if you'll contact us at 47241, or come by and visit with us. We're located over in the University Health Services building, down in the basement area. Kind of like here, we're underground, no windows. That's where we're located. I don't care if it's fire related, if it's HAZCOM related, your hazardous waste, or any type of chemical waste you're trying to figure out how to get rid of or dispose of. Ergonomic issues, that's what our department, lab safety issues, that's what our department pretty much takes care of. Here on this campus, as well as all the training that we're required to keep in compliance with. So, with that said, I do thank you all for coming this afternoon. Have a safe and wonderful weekend. Enjoy the weather. It's beautiful outside right now, so make tomorrow's